Morning, everybody, and hello, Joy Sterling. You are the CEO and partner of one of my favorite sparkling houses, and that is Iron Horse. So,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you tell us a little history on Iron Horse?
I will be so thrilled to do so. It's my favorite story. We are this year, 2025 is our 49th vintage. So next year is our 50th anniversary, which is astonishing. And my personal aspiration in Sonoma County, we have something called the Century Club, which are family wineries that have been in existence, continuously operating for 100 years. So I'm so thrilled. We're halfway there. So, and the first half is the hard part. So we're well on our way. My parents founded Iron Horse in 1976. And at the time, this was so visionary because it was one of the most westerly vineyards in Sonoma County. And even the UC Davis agricultural extension agents told them that they were crazy. It was too cold, too prone to frost. And indeed, we are subject to frost as late as June 1st. But they were adamant that this is where they wanted to be. We're only 12 miles from the coast as the drone flies. And either through extraordinary brilliance or good old-fashioned dumb luck, this turned out to be the absolutely most exquisite, magical place for growing grapes for sparkling wine. One of the pillars of our prestige is that we're now on our seventh consecutive presidential administration to serve Iron Horse. So it's really quite amazing. When you come visit us, I can show you the menus, the White House menus, and you can see really 40 years of American history through the menus. So to the president of China, the Queen of England at the time, Prince Charles when he was prince and now is king, of
Oh,
course.
Joy, that is so exciting. How did all that start?
Well, it started, fabulously, and it really shows you how the world really works, is when the Reagans were in office as the former governor of California, they wanted to promote California wine. And when it came to the summit meetings with Mikhail Gorbachev in 1985, the then advisor, wine advisor, unsung, unpaid, was a gentleman named David Berkeley who had a fine wine store in Sacramento called David Berkeley's Fine Wines. And he recommended Iron Horse for this, obviously because of the extraordinary quality of our wines, but because we pertain to the Russian River area, Sebastopol. So from a diplomatic standpoint, it made sense that this was a winery that had history that related to Russia, and therefore, if nothing else, they would be able to talk about the wine. But as you can well imagine, I mean, all of the historians agree that the two superpowers were simply poles apart until that moment when they were clinking glasses with Iron Horse. And so we have taken complete credit for ending the Cold War.
I
And
love it. Well, maybe
yeah,
we
you're
should do
welcome.
something for this war with Russia too.
Well, we have, our work is never done. But it is to me, sparkling wine is number one, a diplomatic drink, and it always has been. And it's also the drink of optimists.
Oh, I like that. Well, that kind of leads me into tell us about the experience of tasting wine at Iron Horse and how it's different than all the other sparkling wineries.
Well, number one, you're coming to our home. We have three generations living here. So we have a little Walton thing going around. I live at the foot of the property. My mother, who's turning 94 in a month, um, lives at the heart of the vineyard in the original Victorian. And my brother and sister-in-law live in the far opposite corner with one of their children. So um, So first of all, there's that. This is our home. It's a business, but it's our home. Number two, everybody who comes here immediately feels the magic of the place. It is just physically so exquisite. The lay of the land. It's 7 interlocking hills covered with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. The view from the tasting, I call it a tasting room, but it's really outdoors. And you're looking all the way across Sonoma to Mount St. Helena. The view is extraordinary. It's so magnificent. And there's
Fantastic.
nothing quite like tasting the wines where the bubbles are born.
I love how social it is, actually. It's outdoors and it's casual, and the best conversations happen right at your beautiful outdoor bar. It's great.
Well, one of the things that we feel strongly about is our sense of place, but also our sense of community. And I just love that. We don't have any VIP areas. Everyone is a VIP. And you just never know who you're going to meet. You could possibly meet a famous writer like you. And
We've had a lot of good conversations with people about Champagne Widows, my novels that I write about the ladies who really got into champagne in the 1800s. But another thing that I love about Iron Horse is all the new things you do every year, because we've been members for 20, 30 years. I mean, a long, long time. And every time we go, there's something new to taste. So tell us what's new at Iron Horse and what you do around that.
well, we have something new and we have something old. I feel like it's a wedding thing, but funnily enough, the something old is in fact our wedding cuvee. We just released the 2020 vintage of wedding cuvee, which is probably the bubbly that we're best known for. It is definitely the most romantic of our sparkling wines. But the first vintage was vintage 1980, and the new release is vintage 2020.
Wow.
So I know. How did that happen?
Yeah, right.
It feels like a blink of an eye. And so that's incredibly exciting. So we're, as a business, we are driven by legacy, and Wedding Cuvée is definitely that. It still sets the standards for American sparkling wine. On the new side, we make all kinds of wonderful special cuvées. We are such brilliant marketeers that we have a spring rosé, which just came out and is very
Good. It
timely.
is
Oh my
one of my
God,
favorites.
it
Really
is
good.
unbelievable. And then we will follow that up, you'll never guess, with summer's cuvée, and then harvest moon, and then amazingly winter's cuvée. Because as I say, we're just so smart. But so there's that. We're
Say
constant.
something about that though, Joy. That is brilliant, because I have to, the new season starts and you have to have the right champagne to go, or the right sparkling wine to go with the season. And you're always there with the right one. And the taste is totally different. So
There,
I applaud you.
thank you. And you touched on something there that to me is very important. There is no one champagne taste. Even from one estate, we can
Absolutely.
feel so many different flavors and styles and feelings. And we are always expressing the vintage, number one. These are not, so every year, Wedding Cuvée does not taste the same every vintage, as this is not Coca-Cola. But beyond that, we are also striving every year to make better and better and better wine. And that is the thrill of what we do. Our growth is not in size. We're the same size we were from the inception. Our growth is purely in quality.
Actually, you bring up a very good point that, even as being a longtime member, I haven't thought of. You're really into vintage sparkling wines. So everything's a vintage. And for those that don't know, that means it's that year. What did it taste like that year? And how is it different? It's not a mix of all the different years like actually traditional champagne is. a mix of all the different vintages. So I love that you can really taste nature in each vintage.
There, vintage, yes, most importantly means the grapes come from one growing season and hopefully expresses everything that we felt, that we sensed, that it tells that story. But beyond that, vintage also has a technical definition, and that is that it's aged a minimum of 3 years on the yeast in the bottle. So that's one of the differences between vintage and non-vintage is how long it's aged. And the longer the bubbly is aged on tirage or on the yeast in the bottle, the smaller the bubbles. So the more elegant, the more refined, the creamier the mouthfeel. At its height, for wines that are aged the longest, what we call our late disgorged, which means aged longer, disgorged later, more better, you should feel like you're drinking a cloud. It should just effervesce away in your mouth.
I love it. And you're really hitting on what I love when I come to Iron Horse is to hear the very specific differences with all the different sparklings that I'm allowed to taste there. I love that. Being a geek, I call myself a champagne geek, and I just love hearing all that detail that you pour into all these beautiful sparkling wines.
Yes, it's so much fun. It's well, the best the best is if you can just line them all up. And when you're having a party, that's one of the things that I recommend is instead of having one cuvee, have a bunch. And it doesn't even really matter what order you put them in. I mean, everybody can have a personal preference, younger to older, older to younger, blanc to blanc before blanc to noir or rosé, drier to sweeter. You can orchestrate all of that. But it's fun to just to keep changing. It makes it just that much more entertaining.
More alive. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here with us at Sparkling Discoveries. And I'm sure we're going to get into other subjects as time goes on, but thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.